Before the Antichrist can be revealed, before the final persecution can begin, the Bible says a specific event must occur. St. Paul calls it the apostasy, a great falling away from the true faith. For centuries, Christians have looked to the future, wondering when this prophecy would be fulfilled. But a growing number of faithful Catholics are now looking at the world around them, at the state of the church and the culture, and asking a chilling question. Is it possible that we are living in it right now? This is not a question of sensationalism, but of sober observation. The Great Apostasy is not a single dramatic event like an earthquake. It is a process, a spiritual cancer that spreads throughout the body of the church, causing faith to grow cold and millions to abandon the truth. It is a loss of faith on a massive global scale. Tonight, we will examine the biblical and theological meaning of this crucial end-time sign. We will look at the warnings issued by Our Lady in church-approved apparitions, and we will analyze the current state of the church and the world to see if the signs of this great falling away are, in fact, all around us. The primary scriptural warning comes from St. Paul's second letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 2. He writes, "Let no one deceive you in any way, for that day will not come unless the rebellion comes first and the man of lawlessness is revealed." The Greek word used for rebellion is apostasia, from which we get our word apostasy. It literally means a defection from the truth. Before the Antichrist can rise to power, there must be a mass abandonment of the Christian faith. This will create the spiritual vacuum that he will fill with his own counterfeit religion. Jesus himself hints at this in the Gospel of Luke when he asks a haunting question. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth? The implication is that at the time of his return, true, authentic faith will be rare. The Catechism of the Catholic Church confirms this, describing the final trial of the Church as a religious deception, which will shake the faith of many believers. So, what would this great apostasy look like in practice? It would not likely be a mass conversion to atheism. The human heart is naturally religious. Instead, it would be a slow erosion of authentic Catholic doctrine from within. It would be an apostasy disguised as compassion, a rebellion masked as progress. We would see a growing pressure to conform the Church's teachings to the spirit of the age. Doctrines that the world finds difficult, especially on morality, the sanctity of life, and the nature of marriage, would be downplayed, reinterpreted, or quietly ignored. The hard sayings of the gospel would be replaced by a soft, therapeutic message that demands nothing and comforts everyone in their sins. The feeling would be one of growing ambiguity. Clarity would be replaced by confusion. The very definition of sin would become blurred. We would see a shift from a God-centered faith to a man-centered faith, a humanism that retains the language of Christianity but guts it of its supernatural power. The focus would be on building a better world rather than preparing souls for the next. Do these signs sound familiar? Look at the state of the Church in the West. For decades, we have seen a catastrophic decline in mass attendance, vocations to the priesthood and religious life, and belief in the core tenets of the faith. Recent studies have shown that a majority of those who identify as Catholic do not believe in the real presence of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. This is not a minor disagreement. This is a rejection of the source and summit of the Christian life. We see widespread dissent from church teaching on contraception, divorce, and other moral issues, not just from the laity, but from priests and even some bishops. We see liturgical abuses that strip the Mass of its sacredness and mystery. The sound of silence in once full seminaries and convents is deafening. This is not just a statistical decline, it is a profound crisis of faith. This internal crisis has been prophesied by the Blessed Virgin Mary in several church-approved apparitions. At La Salette, France, in 1846, Our Lady warned that Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. This shocking prophecy speaks of an apostasy that will reach the very highest levels of the Church. At Akita, Japan, in the 1960s, a message approved by the local bishop warned, "The work of the devil will infiltrate even into the Church in such a way that one will see cardinals opposing cardinals, bishops against bishops. The priests who venerate me will be scorned and opposed by their confreres. The Church will be full of those who accept compromises." This prophecy of internal division, of a civil war within the Church, is a chilling description of the Great Apostasy in action. When cardinals oppose cardinals and bishops oppose bishops, the lay faithful are left confused and scattered, like sheep without a shepherd. This confusion is the smoke of Satan that has entered the sanctuary, designed to obscure the truth and lead souls astray. The Great Apostasy is not just happening inside the church. It is being fueled by a culture that has become aggressively anti-Christian. The moral framework of our civilization, once built on a Judeo-Christian foundation, has crumbled. It has been replaced by a radical secularism and a militant moral relativism that sees the Catholic Church as the last bastion of an oppressive and outdated worldview. The pressure to conform, to compromise, to accept the new morality is immense. Those who hold fast to the timeless teachings of the Church are increasingly marginalized, ridiculed, and branded as bigots and haters. This external persecution works in tandem with the internal confusion to accelerate the falling away. Many lose heart, abandon the fight, and drift away from the faith, choosing to be accepted by the world rather than to be faithful to Christ. The ultimate reveal is not one of despair, but of hope and of duty. If we are living in the time of the Great Apostasy, we are also living in a time of great potential for sainthood. The Lord is allowing this sifting, this separation of the wheat from the chaff, to purify His church. The lukewarm are being swept away, while a smaller, more committed remnant is being forged in the fire of this trial. Our duty is clear. First, we must know our faith. We must study the Catechism, read the Scriptures, and ground ourselves in the unchanging tradition of the Church. We cannot defend a truth that we do not know. Second, we must live our faith with courage and without compromise. This means frequenting the sacraments, living a life of prayer, and being willing to be a sign of contradiction to the world. Third, we must cling to the Blessed Virgin Mary, especially through the daily rosary. She is the ark who will protect the faithful remnant through the storm. The signs of the Great Apostasy are all around us. The rebellion is here. But the story does not end with apostasy. It ends with the triumph of Christ and His faithful church. The question for us is simple. When the Son of Man returns, will we be among those who have kept the faith? If this analysis of a critical end-time sign has awakened your spirit to the urgency of our times, subscribe to our channel for more content that speaks the truth with clarity and courage.